My name's Brian and welcome back to Desert Theory. Well, what a crazy couple weeks. We got the races in Knowles, Utah. I followed that up by getting home, only being home about a day, on a plane to Bristol, Tennessee, where I got to watch Cletus McFarland's race and hang out with Zach, or Between the Rows, Millennial Farmer, whatever channel you follow of his. So what an incredible 2 weeks, but now we're back in the shop and we got to get this thing cleaned up. Our car doesn't sit around dirty like this very much, and this time especially, where we raced was pretty much the Bonneville Salt Flats. So we were up off of that a little bit, but very salty ground. So we got to get all that salt off of this. Thanks for coming along. If you're new, thanks for coming to look at our channel. Okay, so what we're doing right now is Kelly's getting the skid plate off. We're going to drop that.
You had it hidden in a perfectly good spot.
Yeah, I was sitting on top. So a lot of you kind of might be wondering what the tie-in with Zach actually is. And that tie-in is Zach's a racer. I was a fan of Zach's, and I just extended the offer to get him driving this car. Now, while we haven't actually had him drive it yet, we've been close. We've talked a lot on the phone. He's going to be driving this thing sooner than later. So his name's on the side. So we got to have him driving it. So I guess a little bit about Kelly and I. I am a lineman for a power company. And Kelly is a shop foreman for a machine shop. So it's a unique set of skills that we kind of bring to the table from racing. Obviously, a machinist is a pretty cool guy to have, making some of these arms, fixing some stuff. It's pretty amazing we get to use that tooling and Kelly's knowledge to help keep this thing alive and save us some money.
All right, let's get this thing stripped down.
Okay, so a couple things about this car. It's mid-engine. It has about 24, 26 inches of rear wheel travel. Up front, we have about 20 inches of front wheel travel. Okay, so with all that wheel travel, shocks are really important. Shocks are what have really helped cars go as fast as they can go out in the desert now. So on this car, we have 3-inch bypass shock, Kings up front. Obviously a lot of external adjustment that you can do with rebound, compression. And then the rear, we have 4-inch King shocks. So those things are monsters. They look really cool. There's lots of really nice systems on this car. We can adjust our brakes from front to rear during a race. We have 2 batteries. If we lose one battery, we have a switch that can change the whole system over to just one battery, or we run 2 all the time, but then we can switch to 1. Just so many. We have dual fuel pumps. If we lose a fuel pump, we can switch that off, put it on the other one. So one of the things is Kelly and I stepped up from a Class 5, which is a limited Baja bug body, 105-inch wheelbase max, a lot less suspension, less motor, and then shorter. So it's been a real learning curve in 2 races going to this car. We are able to travel a lot faster through a lot of sections, and really in 2 races we've got a lot faster, but we still have room to build some speed, just because we don't have the confidence and maybe even just the ability to drive that quite that fast. But I think at the end of last race, Kelly and I are starting to feel pretty comfortable with this car, and I really think our 3rd, 4th, 5th races will be different. So lots of fun doing that. Where we raced it was basically the Bonneville Salt Flats, and it got, obviously it gets a lot of dirt, sand, everything. So we've never really cleaned up from a race like this. So what we did is we kept it very dry. Luckily it didn't rain on the way home, so we were able to leave it. And now we're going to take a leaf blower, blow as much stuff as we can off before we even introduce the water to it. And then we are going to wash every piece of this thing, because this is a bare metal frame, bare metal arms, everything's, there's nothing really painted except for the panels on this. So we really need to get it as clean as we can tonight, so when we come back in a couple days it's not all rusted. So we're washing this. There's definitely more salt at this race than we've ever seen before. We have a little bit of rust that we're gonna have to take care of. So yeah, there's just a few spots on here. There's nothing we can't clean up, but you can see on the side of our trailing arm here, even though Kelly sprayed this down with WD the night we brought it home, it's still got some stuff there. So we'll have to take that off and clean it up. I'm not having a race car with rust on it, but we do right now. So one of the really cool things about a class 1 or a buggy style car, I guess it doesn't, there's 1600, there's all kinds of different styles, is all the panels come off, and you can really see how accessible everything on this car is to get to. So at least we have that. And on our class 5 frame, there was so much of that frame stuck down inside with the body over the top. But the difference between those two is our Baja Bug was painted frame, this one's bare frame. If we ever get the time and the money and can do it, I think both Kelly and I would be very interested in actually painting this. We think we're through most of the cracks. Looks like the McMillan team really had to kind of brace some stuff up here when they first had it. It was brand new, but that's all been done. So they found those weak spots that were having issues and they took care of them. So it would be nice just to get it painted to where it didn't do this. A little bit about the shop out here. So Kelly's dad, he owned a wrecking yard. He owned Foreign Parts West here in Eugene. When he sold the wrecking yard, he brought all the, we call them treasures now, lots of Volkswagen parts, cars that he liked, a double-decker bus over there, a lot of stuff that he wanted to work on, and they were projects. Bobby ended up passing away, and this shop has kind of sat here while we took a break from racing and not really done much. So that's why there's so much paint, bodywork stuff in there, is because Bobby did all that work. And now we're slowly trying to convert it to a race shop. We thought it was gonna happen a little faster, but between kids, family, sports, just racing's hard enough. So it's been a slow process, but we have actually cleaned that up for anybody new. That's much cleaner than it was. You might not be able to tell yet.
I'm really happy with how clean the motor is, Brian. There was no oil leaks at all. The dry sump pump was perfectly sealed, and transaxle, we got the breather tube rerouted so it's not pumping half a quart of oil out or whatever it was last time. So cleanup this time is a lot easier. It's good.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is just spray everything on this entire car what we can with WD-40. Since Kelly's doing all this work that I really don't want to do, I found another reason to grab the camera. And yeah, so that reason is kind of telling you what we're doing towards the end of the year. And next weekend we're going to Yerington, Nevada. We're going to go there for a Vora race. We're actually not going to take our car, we're not going to race in it, but we're going to go down and film. And there's a trophy truck. One of our friends, Matt's going to be there. First time driving in a race in a trophy truck. Who hasn't dreamed of that? So that's going to be fun to watch, see how Matt does. Chris German's going to be racing his Class 8. We're going to do some in-car camera, talk to him a bunch, get his pit. So really excited about everything down there. And then we're also going to be going to the Baja 1000 this year as pit crew for the McMillans. So we are so stoked about that. that is the top-notch team. They are the team to beat, according to us, in the Baja 1000. So just pumped that we get to have that opportunity, that we get to go down with that awesome family and just see how they do Baja. So some pretty neat things coming up. And then there'll be a lot of us working on this. At some point, we're gonna need to get our transaxle out of here, send that off. We'll want to go through the front end again and the steering. So we have plenty of work to do on the car, kind of some fun things to go do, and then possibly go meet and let some people drive our car, kind of get some practice in it, if that work ends up being true. So lots of exciting things. Can't wait for it all. And but we'll get back to helping Kelly here a little bit.
Yeah, this thing's not gonna clean itself, Brian. But Garrington will be fun. Did you talk to him about that course a little bit?
I didn't.
That is Brian and I's probably our all-time favorite race course, and it's just really cool. It's a cool experience, and the course is rad. We're super excited to go back there and support some of our fellow racers.
And we'll probably do a pre-run on motorcycles of that course, just so we can figure out what areas we want to film with, and so we can take you there and kind of give you what the drivers are racing around. So would really like to do that. We have to get one more motorcycle running in order for that to happen, but hopefully we can make that happen in a week. So okay, we got to get out of here. We both have a lot of stuff to do before we're leaving for the race next week. We think the car's going to be good. I don't think it's going to rust any.
Yeah, I think it cleaned up really good. We got on it. It looks really good, so we're happy with it.
Next week we're going to see you at a race. So video might be a little bit longer getting out just because we're going to be going there and there'll be a lot of film to edit. So we're trying to get in a couple parts. Can't wait to take you to a race. Thanks for sticking around with us tonight. Thanks for subscribing. Can't tell you how much we appreciate it.